What's up, Dunwoody? Welcome back to the podcast. It's all about Dunwoody, Georgia. I pretty much just have cool people on, talk to them about whatever they want to talk about. Somebody was talking to me the other day, and they were like, "Well, you don't really ask the hard-hitting questions." I'm like, "No, this is a complete fluff piece for whoever's on the show. This is it. This is it. So if that's all you're looking for, this is the place." But show's brought to you by Dr. Brett Friedman of Village Orthodontics, everyone's favorite. And today I've got another favorite of mine, Jimmy Economos, who is, you've worked with me with the parade. You've come to my house and put on events, and you're just
Right.
a good guy. And even though you moved slightly outside of Dunwoody, you're still a Dunwoody guy. And we appreciate everything that you do. I guess, where do you want to start here? Let's talk about when you moved here, how you got into this business, and how you got entrenched in Dunwoody. How about that?
That sounds great. I'll give you a quick recap of that. I was born and raised in Dunwoody, Northside Hospital, and then went to Dunwoody, Vanderbilt Elementary, Peachtree Middle, and Dunwoody. And I started as a DJ when I was a kid, and so I did a lot of events, and I did those locally. And that got me.
What was your DJ name, Jimmy?
Oh,
Oh, come on. What's your DJ name?
I really didn't. My company was called DJE Entertainment, so everybody called me DJE, and that's the name that I went by. But I always,
Okay.
I always tried to stray away from names. I didn't want to pigeonhole
Jimmy the Greek, or like, oh man, I
because what
I could
everybody
rattle off a bunch of
has.
them.
And as you can see, like I can play that stereotype. So if that's how you remember me, I'm happy with that too. I'm proud of
All
that.
right, all right.
Um,
Sorry to interrupt.
no. It's
That
all
was the hard-hitting question that Worth wanted me to ask.
we got it out early, right?
Yeah.
It was I was in I DJ'd my own homecoming for Dunwoody High School, and in fact we just did homecoming. My company did homecoming last weekend or 2 weekends ago as well. So I take a lot of pride in it. I've been working with the community. I started when I was 17. I'm 46 now. So I have been working in some way, in some facet with Dunwoody, either on the parade or Light Up or something like that. And it's actually been really, really rewarding to go from, coming to play the background music to now running the whole show. It's been a great development for me, and I take a lot of pride in it too. So
I know
that's
you do.
more or less my history. And we did move up to Peachtree Corners, but we still have a house in Dunwoody, and I always joke with Lynn that don't worry, we'll be back soon. So
Yeah.
don't count me out yet.
Yep. And so you grew up across from the Donaldson Bannister house, right?
Oh man, I can jump into a memory if you want. I mean, I did grow up next to the Donaldson Bannister, and I'll tell you, when I was a kid in Dunwoody, there were a lot of horses here. It was a lot like Milton. So down Chambly, Dunwoody, there was a couple of families that had horses, and Donaldson Bannister had 3 horses and donkeys and goats. And in those days, the trees hadn't grown up yet, so from my parents' house, I could see them. And went over there, and I always tell people one time, the Chestnuts were the family that owned that house before it was sold to the city. And I was a ballsy kid and went over there, and one day I climbed up on the horse to give him a carrot, and I jumped on the horse, and the horse kicked and knocked me on the ground. And Mr. Chestnut saw it and came running, and I was still dazed. I was probably 10. I wasn't a teenager yet. And that wonderful man, instead of screaming at me, said, would you like to see more of the farm? And he gave me a tour of the house and the barn, and I ended up being the caretaker for that. His daughter was an equestrian, and she rode, and so whenever they would leave town, they would have me come over and watch the house.
Oh,
So
that's
I
cool.
have fond memories of taking care of the house and all the animals in it. But to me, Dunwoody starts at that Donaldson Bannister house.
Yeah. And then how'd you get involved with the parade? How did I really enjoyed working with you with the parade. It really
Well,
takes a lot off of me and Penny, that you guys do most of the work, and so we really appreciate it. But how long's that been now?
I was thinking about that before I jumped on with this. I don't remember when so I would say it was probably '07. I think 2007 is when maybe I started. Pam Talmadge, who is both of our good friend and I will also say a mentor to me. She's really helped me through the years,
Yeah.
supported me. And I did the DeKalb County Teacher of the Year Award for her. I produced it, audio visual lighting, things like that. And I worked with her a couple of years on that. And she said, you know what? I got this project I'm working on. I've got a band called the Blue Notes, right? And they're playing for the parade that we do. And I need some help with their sound. And I remember we always joke about the Blue Notes because I think the youngest member was 70, and we had to get a ramp And I said, what's the ramp for? We can just lift the gear on the stage for them. And they said, no, the drummer's in a wheelchair. And he has to go. So it was a geriatric band, but that's when Pam brought me in to help with sound support. And then I started doing sound, and then she just put more and more on me, as you know, as chair. Sometimes we bring on different things. There was the swearing-in ceremony and landing of the Black Hawk helicopter, and there's always something going on. And I grew a lot and learned a lot about production from Dunwoody in that parade, just logistics and management. So I think I've been doing that since '07, and it was the same thing with Light Up. I was brought on to be a DJ and play the music. But, as you grow in your career, you move from one, you wear one hat and you put on another. And as I got older, I put the DJ hat away and I came onto the producer role. And it's been a blessing to me for that to be handed down to me and for me to be able to run that. It's really nice to have the continuity, but also to be able to show my kids something that I did when I was a kid, and now we're all still part of it. To see all the children come out, it is a heartwarming event, and I'm just so glad Dunwoody doesn't let me be a part of it.
And nobody loves it more than Rosie too.
Rosie, my daughter, she's the head
parade
elf.
princess.
She's the head elf, yes. And she asked me this year if she could continue her role as the head elf, helping Santa. And I told her she could, but we're also going to recruit some other elves. So she's super excited to get out there and do it. And the parade, too. She got to ride with Pam when Pam was the Grand Marshal. And I think that was... The problem is now is that I've set an expectation.
Yeah.
And she wants to know she can lead the parade every year. And I said, you're going to have to do a little bit more work for them to put you in front every year. But what great experiences for her. It just, again, I rode my bike in the parade as a kid. And now to see my daughter involved with it too, it's what life's all about. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I mean, you've talked about you and your daughter, but your wife is a big part of this too. And when did Leah get pulled into the parade?
I'll tell you, my wife is a powerhouse, and I just
really
love her. She's a heck of a planner. She's amazing with logistics, and she saw that she started doing sponsorship for the parade to help Pam out. So because to make these events work, it takes a lot of money, and it's people feel that if you make a phone call or an email, all of a sudden that check will come to you. And even the best sponsors, that's not the case. You've got to touch them.
No, it's follow up 5-6 times.
It is. And then ask again and politely ask again. And then finally, but we couldn't host these events without somebody dedicated to it. And she did that so where did I meet her? She was brought in to open the Cobb Energy Center in '07 or '08. I think it was '08. And I was a production chair for an event. We met each other, and we were both like-minded, started dating, and then we started this company, EEP Events. So Leah is a great planner, but also fantastic with logistics. And she makes sure that we have sponsors, that the sponsors are paid, that they get what we've offered them. So it takes a lot off my shoulders because you got to imagine I've got a marching band, 3 dance groups, reindeer, Santa face painters, 600-700 kids coming, porta potties, all this going up, and we need somebody to make the sponsors feel that they're taken care of. Not we're busy, you're over there. We want somebody to white glove service, if you will, them, and that's Leah's role. And she does.
And she's good at pulling us back and getting us to follow the rules and stuff. I remember with the Xfinity banner, she was like, "Well, it has to be this exact color." I was like, does it have to be that? She's like, yes, that's what the sponsors are going to want, and that's what they're paying for. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
I'll tell you a funny anecdote. When I first met her, we were sitting in this meeting at Cobb Energy Center, and I had just met her, and she was logistics for the venue, and I was doing production. And after 2 hours, I looked at my notes, and I had my name doodled many, many times working on that signature, and I realized that I had missed most of the pertinent info. And I looked next to her, and she had 4 or 5 pages of outline notes, detailed, and I went, you know what? I need some of that in my life. This woman has what I do not. And,
there you go.
And it is still that to this day.
Opposites attract.
Absolutely.
So I guess we never let in with that you do audio visual. You might not know it by looking at you with this little setup that you've got here, but audio visual, event planning, what else? Meeting, conference planning. What do you call yourself? Event production, I guess.
It's tough. It's tough, man. People ask me who do I market to and what do we do, and it's like instead of telling you what I do, tell me what you need, because I've done many facets of the industry. I started in entertainment. And then I worked as an agent, and I worked for an agency, and I had 14 guys under me that we were sending out every weekend to do events. and sometimes we weren't doing entertainment. We were just providing the sound or just providing the lighting. Then I worked for a national company, and we traveled the country setting up big shows. And after I learned how to do that myself, I thought, well, you know what? It's time. Let's take a crazy leap and jump into business for yourself. So Leah and I started a production company, and we do, it was primarily entertainment and small production. COVID hit, and we actually lost everything on our books. We didn't know what we were going to do or how we were going to continue. And I was a journalist major from Georgia, so I got together some of the other guys that I knew, and we learned and revamped our broadcast skills, and we jumped into broadcast and streaming. And since COVID, we have done pretty much all corporate production: audio, video, lighting, staging, scenic. I do all of the seminars for Emory Brain Health. I also work with a lot of nonprofits and galas. We come in and we manage the whole show for them. We help them write the run of show. We help them from concept to execution of event and all the way through. And so This is our busy season.
You're like a soccer referee. Like, it's better if you're not noticed. If somebody notices you, that means you probably screwed something up. So
absolutely,
you're the background guy. And
Background.
I always remember, was it Murphy Candler that you did like during COVID? I felt like that was the first like hybrid thing that you did. Would you broadcast one of their games? Is that what you did?
Yeah, they called me, and and I played ball as a kid at Murphy Candler. So once again, like, to get that call felt good. But the problem they had is COVID had just hit, and that was the deal with everybody. COVID had just hit. There were people that could not attend. They were playing baseball games, and the grandparents couldn't see. Only one parent could go. And they came to me and said, listen, can we put these games online? And now you and I are sitting and we're doing this, but you got to realize right before COVID hit, nobody was on Zoom. Nobody did this. This was not common as it is now. And we had to learn quick how to get that image up so that people could see it. And it's funny, the little details of making that image look right. I remember we first put that image up, and it was flipped. It was reversed. It was upside down because
all the grandparents that are home like this.
The first game, and then we learned that a trick to the software we were using that flipped it back. But we did a couple of games for them, and we connected grandparents watching their grandkids play ball. So it's not just providing a product; it's a service. But you got to feel good at the end of the day when they come and pat you on the back and say, "You connected people that couldn't see each other." And we realized that was the path. And so that's what we have really pushed as far as the company goes. But we're always going to step back in things like Light Up and stuff like this. We'll always go back to that social, that entertainment, and help with that because, everything's not just about money. Community is very important. And this is a big community event.
Well, that's a nice transition, Jimmy. So tell us about Light Up Dunwoody. And I have actually, I haven't been to Light Up Dunwoody except I think maybe last year was the very first year I ever went. And I was like, whoa, this thing's huge. But apparently it wasn't huge previous years. So what exactly are you guys doing now?
Correct me
to make this such an event?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it also like your first time to the 4th of July festival last year too? So I got you at closing festival, and I got you at Light Up. And
I talk a lot of Dunwoody game, but yeah, there you go. You're right.
You got a lot going up at the top of that. There's a lot going on, and I'm not giving you any grief. But Light Up Dunwoody, it started at one of the Spruill House, and it was an event where we lit the Christmas tree. And we also had Santa. So we always talk about the tree, but really you've got 4 hours of free photos with Santa. So we had 600-700 kids even in free.
That seemed like a big draw last year, yeah.
Huge draw. And, the problem was we've always faced problems with the weather and the light in Santa's eyes from the sun. We closed down the street, but that didn't give us a lot of time to set up. We only had an hour to set. So we made a decision last year to move it, and we moved it into the shops at Dunwoody, which gave us a location to put Santa inside, so everybody's sheltered from the weather if it should be cold. We have he'll be there from 2 to 6. We have 3 dance groups, all Dunwoody locals, performing. What else? We have Dunwoody Marching Band that's going to be there and perform as well. We have live reindeer. And this year we have a new Christmas tree. We've got a brand new Christmas tree that the Dunwoody Homeowners Association has bought, and that's going up. And we also, a menorah was added so that we can be inclusive of everybody in Dunwoody. Now, I know that Light Up is happening before Hanukkah, and I've had several of my Jewish friends in Dunwoody make me aware of that maybe we shouldn't light the menorah and come back and do it again. But that's the beauty. People love the event and they want to make it theirs. So I'm always up to how can we change to make it better. But
Yeah.
for this point, on November the 19th from 2 to 6, we start at 2. We've partnered with the School Arts Center, and they are providing crafts for us. We have a lineup of phenomenal sponsors that have come in, more sponsorship this year than we've ever raised. So that allows us to do some of the things that we want to do. We've got vendors giving hot chocolate and cookies. We've got arts and crafts, great music going and entertainment. And it is just a time for people to come out for a little community fun, get a picture with Santa. And if you stay long enough, at 6, you'll see the tree and the menorah get lit. And it's the conclusion to a great day.
And this isn't like, a big deal for you. You can really just show up, eat at Breadwinner, and then walk over. I mean, you don't have to pay to get in. There's not like big lines everywhere. It's really, you just walk up. And I think that made it really cool because right when we walked up, there was this dance crew going off. And, a lot of the people there were the parents watching, but it was an event. You guys really made, it was a big deal. When you drove past, you knew what was happening there.
Well, I'll tell you, I got to give thanks to all of the dance groups that have come, especially Dan and Company. Dan and Company has been a part of this since day one.
For real.
I like to give them a little bit of love because you have to realize when 30 kids show up, they bring 60 parents and then also siblings with them. So Dan and Company will come and fill our lot up. And they do 2 shows. They're always choreographed. They always have costumes. And I love them. So they're my VIPs because they've been with us for 20 years. Now we've got the North Georgia School of Ballet coming and EIM Dance Company is coming as well. These are all Dunwoody groups. So we just continue to try to add to the entertainment that you see. And between that, we have a DJ playing holiday music. So, the hope is just that you can go to Los Hermanos, you can go to Breadwinner, you can jump in Jake Christopher, grab some food, we'll be there 4 hours, come out and hang with us. But, we also like our new location because we want to push business to the shops of Dunwoody as well. They're a part of the community. They're making it happen. So if we can support them, that's a win for us as well.
Yeah. And that Burger King's not going anywhere. Nobody's ever going to open there. So it's yours forever, Jimmy.
I think that place would be a great diner. They give us the key to it, and we go in there every year, and I walk around that building going, you have your own parking lot, you've got a big restaurant, it's got a drive-thru.
It doesn't make any sense.
Why does nobody want this space? But hey, we're happy to use it.
Yeah.
Until somebody does.
We're happy to use it to park our big potato there.
Exactly.
So we used it a couple years back to park a giant potato for the parade.
The parade, too. Absolutely.
Well, cool. Well, I've been asking you to come back on the show for a long time, so I appreciate it, Jimmy. Anything else you want to add?
Hey, I also love, I just wanted to throw a shout out to you, what you've done in this podcast.
All right, well, let's just wrap it up then. I'm just kidding.
Hey, I love what you've done and how it's grown, and I appreciate spending time with you. You're a great Dunwoodian as well, and
Thanks,
just love when we can get together and put our heads together. I enjoy working with you on the festival for the parade. And I hope that we all have many more years to come. This is what it's all about. So thank you for the opportunity to get the word out. November 19th, 2 to 6, shops of Dunwoody. Light Up Dunwoody. Come hang out with us. Have a great time and enjoy the holiday season.
Awesome. Thanks, Jimmy.
You got it. Take care, buddy. Bye-bye.